kittens. We're back with Schneider Fit at Home workout number 13. This is another body weight workout to start out the week, but I warn you ahead of time, this one's tough. It's all for the lower half. It's a body weight leg workout. Normally I recommend warming up for 4 or 5 minutes. I'm actually going to make that part of the workout itself. So we're going to start in what's called the quadruped position. So it's down on all fours, basically hands and knees. And we're going to do 10 repetitions per side of the body per exercise. So we're going to start on the left so you can see it here with a fire hydrant. So just keeping the knee bent at 90 degrees. We're going to lift the knee as high out to the side as we can. We're looking to limit rotation of the low back though. So Whitney could get her knee really high if she allowed her low back to rotate and those hips to swivel back and forth. We want to avoid that. We just want to work right there in the hip socket. 10 on the left side, follow it with 10 on the right side. Second exercise is going to be a knee circle. So we're going to take the knee backwards, out and around, trying to draw this as big a circle as we can make. Okay, big circle. So not only does it go back, but you pull it forward. I'd like to see a little bit more forward movement out of that. There you go. Once again, looking for as little rotation in the hips as we can get by with. So she could make a great big circle if she allowed her hips to roll over and that low back to move. But we're going to try and keep the trunk stable and really isolate at the hip. We're going to do 10 of those on each side. Those are the only two we're going to do for that one. You can add some to that sequence if you need a little extra stretching or whatnot, warming up going. But now we're going to move on to the side lying hip series. And it's exactly what it sounds like. I'll get this out of your way. You're going to lay on your outstretched arm pretty relaxed so that the spine stays in a nice straight line as opposed to being propped up on your head, which curves the spine up. So you're going to be nice and relaxed like this. Legs straight out. You're going to pull your toe up at your shin and lead with your heel. So there's a slight inward rotation of like the knee and hip. And we're going to go just halfway as high as we could on a range of motion, keeping the hips stacked. So if, Whitney could raise this foot really high if she let her hips open up. And that's not what we want to do. We want to keep the hips stacked right up on top of each other. So halfway through your range of motion or halfway to the top for 10 reps. So we're going to take that midway point. We're going to go from the midway point to as high as you can on that range of motion. Once again, keeping those hips stacked. We're going to do 10 of those. After 10 of those, then we're going to go all the way through that full range of motion, all the way from the bottom of the rep to the top of the rep for 10 full repetitions. After we've done that, we're going to hit the halfway point again, and we're going to draw circles, 10 to the front, 10 to the back. You want to keep the knee really locked out and rigid, and think about drawing that circle with your heel, right? Circles, okay. 10 one way, 10 the other way, and then we're going to repeat everything on the other side of the body as well. So that is the quadruped hip series followed by the side lying hip series. Our third warm-up exercise is the glute bridge march out. You've seen this before in part of our at-home workout series. It's a way to involve the hamstrings a little bit more, not just the glutes. So you're just going to take small steps out, 3 to 5 steps on each leg. Bring it back. We're doing that for a set of 10. And then we're going to flip this over into a forearm plank and essentially do the same thing with the toes, taking 3 to 5 small steps back on each side, maintaining the same level of the hips the entire time throughout the entire movement. Okay, 10 of those, 5 to 10, 5 if you're really struggling. So you can do that 1 to 2 rounds. One round should take somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less. Adding a second round will, of course, just increase the amount that you're going to get warmed up with. Okay, so now for the actual workout itself. Before we get into this, I'd like to recommend a pair of white tights. They do somehow help. Can you even see her lower half over here against the wall? We'll check it out. We're going to start with something really basic, a wall sit. So this can be done anywhere. Usually a door is probably the best way to do it. It's nice and flat. You're looking for about a 90-degree bend in the knees. Shoulders are back, head's back, so we want to practice good posture. On these rounds here, we're going to hold everything, or we're going to do every exercise for 30 to 60 seconds. So 30, 45, 60 seconds, wherever it is. Wall sits number 1, really basic. You just want to feel that tension mostly in the quads. Second exercise is an alternating lateral lunge, so we're going to go back and forth on this. We're getting a little lean forward at the waist, but we don't want to be hunched forward. We still want that chest up, or a good cue I like is spread the logo. I've heard that a lot. So alternating back and forth, 30 to 60 seconds. Okay, the third exercise is a single leg half squat hold. So it's exactly what it sounds like. We're going to do a single leg squat. We're only going to go about halfway, and we're going to hold that position 30 to 60 seconds on each leg. Okay, so what we can use as an alternative to this, or we can go back and forth depending on the amount of rounds you do, is a single leg half RDL hold. So that's a little bit straighter leg. You still have some softness to the knee, but the hips are much higher. You should feel more tension in the hamstrings when you do this. Once again, holding that for 30 to 60 seconds. So let's say you do 3 rounds. You do first round as a squat hold, the second round as an RDL hold, the third round you just choose your favorite of the 2. If you do 4 or an even number of rounds, you just alternate between those 2 exercises. From there, we're going into the marching hip thrust hold. So find a couch or a coffee table, you can do this. Start with a good quality hip thrust, so the hips are in a nice straight line with the shoulders. We don't want to overextend or go so far that we've arched the back. We're just going to really concentrate on squeezing the glutes, about a 90-degree bend in the knees, and then we're just going to alternate marching steps. So we're going to get the core involved a little bit more. It's hamstrings, glutes, and a little bit of abs to go along with. 30 to 60 seconds, just like everything else. Next, we're going to move. This is a challenge to the balance. This is a really great exercise to challenge balance. So it's a single leg toe touch. We're going to reach across with the opposite arm, okay, reaching for the outside edge of the toe, coming up, reaching overhead. That really just ensures a nice full range of motion. A lot of times on single leg RDLs, people tend to short it and not work for full extension. So we're going to add the overhead reach to ensure full extension at the top. 30 to 60 seconds on each leg. Going right into a single leg calf raise. You've seen this one again, or previously in at-home workouts. We're just working ankle mobility, calves of course. You can wrap the foot around the ankle, or you can keep that back foot on the ground, whatever allows you to get nice height and a lot of squeeze of the lower leg. And then our last exercise is the frog jump. So we want to set up slightly wider than a normal squat stance. Deep squat, right? When you have to reach for the floor, that means those hips have to get down there. If it bothers your back, don't go that low. If you're not into the jumping, we just turn it into a squat with that low reach, and then a calf raise at the top for that full extension again. So 3 to 6 rounds, 30 to 60 seconds per exercise. If it's a single leg exercise, it's 30 to 60 seconds per side. 3 to 6 total rounds of that. If you do 6 rounds of this at a minute each, that is a long, tough workout, and I'd be really impressed by you. So get your white tights and get to work. Thanks.